most of the rounds picked up were on the CT side for Havan on Nuke. They start on the CT side here. Guess we don't see it, but the knife round goes their way. One would assume. I wouldn't be too surprised if these teams want to start on the T side with the way the aggression's been all day, but we'll see. Pistol kicking off. Remix with the first face and getting the first bullets in the face as well, as he will fall pretty quickly.
Yeah, Remix there sticking around for a little bit too long, but Ale, he was playing aggressively on long. He knows how many players are already through. 2 players flanking as well from Connector. As IDK makes his way back, this is the flank of the flank of the flank. Who is going to strike first? Taking the fights into these players around default. These ones that come out of Connector. The flank now comes in from IDK. Skull's finding frags, and Havan, they've threaded the needle, it seems, in this round, just about flanking at the perfect time.
Getting a little lucky, but sometimes that's what you need. And of course, Counter-Strike, a lot of it is about creating your own luck in a sense. And they do so with the plan, with the trust in their teammates. Very tight-knit there on Banana. I don't know if you caught that, but a couple of the players literally on top of each other. So they all meat shield tactic. Nonetheless, quick turnaround. It looked dire for a second. That'll be the case. And even denying the bomb plant away. So we'll see Paquetá here with the hard eco. Again, I think especially on Overpass, you kind of speak to a force buy usually, but they want to get the AKs as early as possible.
Yeah, and I believe we saw the same on Nuke on the first half. We did, yep. So, no massive surprises, and clearly, given the level of investment on the T side, we're not going to get overly excited about these frags. It'd be nice for the scoreboard. The stat padding, I guess, is actually a bit of damage there. So, M4 recovered. They'll clearly be buying up in the next both teams. So, 2 MP9s, FAMAS in play. Havan, do they need to treat this like a traditional bonus round? Do they need to get aggressive? Because looking at the weaponry, these MP9s are going to struggle to find good jewels, aren't they?
Yeah, they are indeed. I think they have their place and they excel in their role. But it does limit you in some ways. At the very least at this level, I think the tapping on the MP9 is not too bad for an SMG. But you'd expect these players to be pretty quick. This is a good way to use them, though. Up close and personal. Easy triple, in fact. Maybe even 4. They both go for the reload at the same time, and it doesn't matter. Too many targets for IDK to deal with. Havan Liberty. This is a brilliant opening few rounds, as they have firmly shut down the early buy from Paquetá.
Yeah, indeed. And obviously, coming into the round, I spoke about how on a bonus round, you might want to play a little bit different, a little bit unorthodox. They get aggressive towards short, of course, closing the range on those MP9s, using that movement speed, take some good jewels, and found some nice opening picks. Still playing a lot into short here. I'm not sure why those later Paquetá players committed in. It seems like a little bit past its sell-by date in terms of fighting for that B short control. But ultimately, Havan, they found the entry frags. AKs recovered. This is a huge boom, isn't it? Especially if they can keep these numbers alive. And they do.
Yeah, pretty solid stuff. I think, obviously, you talk about the more logistical side of things. I always like to talk about the mind games and the mental side of things. It's going to help them in a great way in that sense. I think that's fairly obvious, to be honest. Just in the scope of this game, but also, of course, with the way that second map, went down. So we'll see whether they can keep it up. We did see them drop a lot of these types of rounds, making a good number of mistakes. So never write off these types of deagle rounds. The deco, as it's called. Not a phrase you hear as much anymore, but usually just a half buy, you know. The idea of just straight up deagles, not as common anymore, actually. Do you know what I mean? You see teams edge more towards solid half buys rather than literally just deagles.
Yeah, there's not many scenarios where you're going to be able to afford deagles and all your players and not get some armors out. So seems like the straight deco is a thing of the past. David, he decided, I want to take a bit of a peek out here. Look for a frag. Doesn't work out. Ale, he's happy happy to AD, take the jewels. Can't find that one. So, not perfect, but still 4 players alive. Seems exceedingly unlikely that Destiny's going to walk away with this with too many frags. So, from the money perspective, Havan off to a good start.
Destiny looking to find another head, though. Maybe take a rifle out with him. Does have the bomb. Now he's going to the wrong bomb site for my money. Only 20 seconds left. Just been spotted there, I believe. Com comes in. Oh, nice one. That's not bad. We'll take one of those. And there you go. Making a couple of players rebuy is always nice. Nonetheless, it is that 4th round for Havan. Now moving into the buy from Paquetá. We've got the AWP coming out. Maybe one here into the hands of Ale. Perhaps talking about that. But no, he will just go for the IEM 4. It's Remix that's able to get the AWP. Doc drops it across. So, nice buy on both sides. Paquetá, I think they need to start thinking about getting around, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, indeed. And as we mentioned there, the money is already starting to get a little bit out of control here for Havan. Paquetá will definitely need to be chaining gun rounds. It looks like they are setting up the triple nades. There was a play around the sandbags, but Doc backing out just in time. He's not going to get tagged. Now they got the information. Peeking out on the flash. It was a great idea, but doesn't work out for Ale. AWP was already posted.
Okay. Manages to find one. That is one of the more hopeful peaks I think I've seen in my casting career. To be honest, dry peeking through Monster as a CT is incredibly difficult. I think there's so many different spots that you have to attest for. We're still in a 3v3 though. Remix finds an untraded kill at long there. And now the B bomb site. Looking a little under threat. They are, keeping these players around. They know there's one towards short. He's made some noise, but the bomb itself is going A, where Remix awaits. But he awaits patiently, playing that retake setup back at bank, holding the cross. So it should be an easy plant at the very least.
Indeed. Cortex, he's going to pick up one frag. They now know that there's one maximum here on A. Nade's going down as well, so seems unlikely that Remix here is going to find too much damage. They are actually going to smoke the right side of default versus the seated stairs area, so that's going to allow a bit of space to work with. But with the AWP here, barring any mistakes with no nades, how can they pull off this retake?
The big question. Excuse me, I just had to capture a flying beast. Nonetheless, Skulls up against David here, trying to get the tap on the bomb, but David round the corner able to take him out. Nice couple of kills coming in from him to secure the round. Paquetá picking up there first finally. But yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I have my window open a little bit. It's still kind of warm here in the UK. For anyone who cares, this is really just for you, Alan, to be honest, because we're having a good time. I've had like 4 daddy long legs, as we call them. Are they like a part of the mosquito family, I think? I don't know. Anyway, I've had like 4 of them over the past few evenings just fly in and be a nuisance and keep me awake with their buzzing and stuff, So I've decided to strike early against this one and try and get rid of it.
Nice. Nice to hear that your reactions are still on point, even when the game potentially is dragging on a little bit. Ale, he's decided, I don't need my teammates. I'm going to play on my own. Aggressively here on long. Remix, he gets the tap. Destiny decides to carve his own destiny as he peeks again into an AWP he knew was already there. Ale, the timing here is impeccable. Can't find Actually been spotted. He was spotted by IDK, and that's a disaster. And that timing was far from impeccable in the end.
Indeed. Remix. Key angle here to work with. We're going to get off it, though. 45 seconds. Ooh, jumps back up. Risky. Didn't know there was an AWP there, in fairness, but still risky. Only spots the one, but when you see an AWP, kind of sells the idea. And with Doc, you know, that's what he was doing. He was going for the info so that Remix could pop off, right? It makes sense. 3 kills coming in so far for the AWP here, and with that, with the quick 2k at the very least, they will be pushed away. Not fancying it. DRG says, thanks very much, boys. Straight into my crosshair, and he will get them both. Beautifully done. Answering straight back, and now Paquetá's serious problems.
Indeed. Decent amount of economic damage in the last couple of rounds, but Havan have looked like a totally different team, to be honest, haven't they, since Nuke? Nuke, so many mistakes, so many, let's say, individual aggressions not paying off, or lack of team play. And whilst this hasn't been, you know, strategically massively outplaying the Paquetá guys, it's been much more solid, hasn't it? It looks like playing much better together, and certainly that gap between the maps has paid huge dividends in terms of allowing them to reset. Ale is looking towards short. That could have been really awkward. He's almost lucky to get away with one, but another gun now can be recovered. AK in the cans of KTech, so suddenly, from what should have just been a fairly simple cleanup, 2 guns in play, and a much stronger opportunity now for Paquetá.
There we go. This is what we like to see. The boys finding a little bit of success. We've got a floating man in the form of IDK on the T side of Monster. Meanwhile, a boost coming in. Up he goes. Destiny. What are we going to find? Well, unfortunately, Skull's one step ahead. Beautiful hold here. The setup just paying dividends. They've got no utility to break it apart, so I think good luck to you, right? That is a very, very difficult setup to walk into. And Havan, again, holding on, despite things looking good for Paquetá. Havan, at the moment, their CT side is pretty unstoppable.
Yeah, indeed. Fairly clean there in the end for Havan. But now, I think we really have to focus on this Paquetá T side. Of course, we regularly say Overpass is a CT-sided map, but there's been pretty dominant so far from Havan Liberty. So Paquetá, if you've got some good rounds, if you've got some nice defaults, now is the time to show us what you've got. Aggressively here towards mid, initially are all these players. Heavily leaning towards the B-bomb side is the CT defense. They don't commit out on those flashes. K-Tex, he's just sitting in that mid-smoke for now. Thinks better of it in the end. So the default is going to slow down, but we need to see some more utility coming down to take this map control and walking straight in. That's not how it's done. Molly is too deep there on towards Divider as well, and too many opportunities here, Scriv, have been given to these CTs, getting all the jewels they want.
Yeah, this is starting to look like the Nuke T side of Havan, isn't it? Just taking all these fights, all these scraps, looking good, feeling comfortable. Crazy. 7-1. Half buy for Paquetá. Still looking for round number 2. Maybe Havan looking to give them a taste of their own medicine, you know, with that 13-2 half. Is it 13-2 or 12-3? Like you said, I tried to forget.
12-3.
Okay. One of us on the ball. I did try and forget that nuke map. I'm not going to lie to you.
Sounds like
it's all coming back.
Me.
It's flooding back. Yeah, it's all flooding back. Ale. Oh, great angle to deal with this. Lads. Right. So when you buy flashbangs, might be an idea going into an angle where you've got no info. I know you might have a bit of an idea for later on in the round, but I think just one simple flash gets you that kill. Or at the very least, you know, forces him away, forces him into an awkward spot, maybe keeps him low. Good timing there from IDK, but you can't rely on that all the time, especially into the AWP remix, man. Watch this kid, because in all this chaos, he seems to have a bit more method than the rest of them, right? Definitely some difficult shots, but consistency across all 3 maps, and looking, it's coming to a peak here on Overpass.
Yeah, indeed. He knows how to turn up the tempo. But you remember earlier on we had a conversation about how CS in a lot of ways is about making your opponents uncomfortable, making their duels difficult. And that for me is the number one thing about this T side from Paquetá. When have they made Havan, at least on these gun rounds, uncomfortable? When have they applied a lot of pressure with their utility or got out aggressively for map control? Every time it's like that. Every single time it's an individual facing and giving a good duel. Where's the team play? Where's the utility? They're making it way too easily, especially for Remix on that AWP. And he's been hitting every single shot. So you're getting punished at every turn right now, Paquetá.
Yeah. Well, in it comes. DRG not going to be dealt with as the double spray down nice and clean. They try and deal with the monster player. Of course, there's a guy short. DRG, though, able to keep it together in for another round. 9-1. And Paquetá, they are looking a little worse for wear. A lottle worse for wear.
A lottle, yeah.
Yeah.
Grab your dictionary, boys. Okay, so money is really starting to get out of control, actually, isn't it? For Havan, Paquetá, we talk about doing economic damage on these rounds. It won't be enough, even if they win it, to reset the CT money. So I guess in that sense, we're starting to talk about rounds. And the confusing part for me has been the lack of pauses. But B Rush is going to be coming out. There's only 2 players here in defense, and DRG. He is up for the task. 2 huge frags. Now the rotation starts coming. He might go down, but he's done his job. K-Tech's remaining. 1 on 3. How's he going to recover the bomb? He cannot. 10-1. This is domination.
Yep. I can't really add too much to that. I think the perfect analysis.
Thank you.
Yeah. No problem. Oh, God. It's not what I was expecting. I did expect a bit of a closer scrap, similar to Dust 2. You know,
I think both be streaky over the series, to be honest. It feels like, for whatever reasons, both teams struggle really to adapt. I don't know if you felt the same throughout the series, but square peg, round hole has been a lot of these T sides.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the motto, isn't it, I think, of the Counter-Strike at the moment. Python finds the entry, and IDK going to get skulls, so Paquetá looking too bad. Remix is always there, though, chiming in. 4 versus 3. We let this one drop, then I seriously worry. That's a weird smoke and molly interaction that's gone a bit awry. DRG able to find one. Remix jumping down. Surely not. Yeah, IDK will finish him, thank goodness. And Ale miles away from the action. 1 versus 3. Second round incoming for Paquetá. He says. Yep. Okay, good. Caught with a flash out.
You've got no confidence anymore, have you?
Yeah, I know. It's going a little bit, and I want to see, you know, the team that's down. Obviously, we've got to be impartial and whatnot, but I do want to see the team that's a bit down and out finding the simple rounds, right? The 4v4 may be hard, the 3v2 may be hard, but the 1v3 you've got to convert that, you know. And I think certainly with the way that they're playing, it can be very hard to read. In fact, when you're in a 1v3, like how you approach that as a clutch.
So money takes quite a dent for the CT side. Still, though, they'll be just fine, even if they lose this one, should a couple of saves come in. Remix with the leg onto Destiny. And Destiny, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he's one of the top-rated players in the series thus far. 2-12 for him. So even, you know, we've been criticizing team play and decision making. The individuals themselves have been a little bit out of sorts as well, haven't they, on this T side?
Yeah, you're not wrong, you know. Looking at this guy right here, David, 410. You know, that's a very quick read coming in. And, yeah, particularly the man that they rely on, big style, like you're saying. There he is, though. Hello, as they check each other out there. That was nearly round winning. However, of course, Remix always see it. Right. I quit. Oh, God. Oh Come on. Come on. You're in on the site. 3v2. My man goes flying round the corner into an AWP with the bomb in hand.
IDK, bro. He's in the server.
Yeah.
What can you say? 8 seconds. He might die after time here. That's the only silver lining that he doesn't. They've got some money in the bank, so it will be a buy from Paquetá. But, you know, given the trend of this T side, I'm not even necessarily looking at them to get rounds here. You know, and 4 would be nice, but they've got to start winning some gun rounds. They've got to start looking more convincing. They've got to start playing together more, because Remix has just been... There's just been a conveyor belt of players peaking in this game, hasn't there?
Yeah. It's very strange. With you know, slightly less than ideal spacing. So it's not like you go in, you know, to a 3 versus 2 little exchange, and then, unfortunately, not trading well. It's more like 1v2, 1v2, 1v2. Just feels very strange. Ale, there you go. Thank you very much. Finds himself 2 1v1s to get a 5-on-3. Doesn't take a single point of damage. So, Havan looking good for number 12. Looking good to get the 13-2, perhaps. K-Tex, nice find. Destiny, half-arse check. Trade will come in. You know, the mechanics are there. But the brain... less so. You know, it's more brawn in this one. Which it's nice to have a couple of players like that, maybe, within your team, but the entire team, it just doesn't work. You need somebody to drive all that muscle. But we'll see. 2 versus 3. Maybe they can, indeed... Oh, keep it going. Not if Remix is involved, though. Those flicks have been so fat. Down to K-Tex here to find himself the ace. Not going to happen. Nice effort, but unfortunately not enough in the end. In comes number 12.
Yeah, indeed. It was a good attempt, especially from K-Tex, but it certainly feels like at this point in the game, as unlikely as, you know, an afterplan like that could have been, they need to be picking up those, you know, 20, 30% rounds, don't they? Because this is beyond out of control in terms of the scoreline. Money, of course, is still brilliant for Havan, and the buy be pretty decent from Paquetá, but they won't have quite all the utilities. So 12-3 was the scoreline on Nuke. That was first half from Paquetá on the CT side. We're seeing a role reversal here on the decider map. So Havan, can they go one better and make it 13? They've looked brilliant so far on the CT side.
All right. For one, I'm hoping Paquetá can maybe give us a little bit more competition here towards the tail end of the evening. And, you know, maybe if they do, we'd be into the morning. Wouldn't that be fun? Either way, down long they go. All 4 of them here, smoke coming in. They are set up and ready. Remix is going to be left a little bit awkward. Great little setup on the counter flash. Unfortunately, Doc couldn't get into his corner fast enough. David will take out Remix. And look at this. Some coordination. DRG on the other edge of the smoke. He gets flashed. Unfortunately overlooked, so has potential here to really pop off. Ale going to help him out a little bit from the backside. 2 versus 2. But the most competitive round we've had for a while from this Paquetá squad. Down to the 1 versus 1 at the tail end of the half. K-Tex trying to get this third. Ale's set up and ready, though. He's half HP, of course, on the opposite end. Big tags on both sides. 1 bullet to decide it all, and it goes the way of Ale on the wide swing. Unfortunate. But where was that? The whole half, Paquetá. I don't know. I don't think they do either. We'll take a short break to just reel over that one, and we'll be back to see whether Havan can clean things up nicely in just a few minutes.
Tell me now why you want to wait. Running.
Okay. Paquetá with the run back of the century here to get themselves through to that upper bracket final of the IEM Fall RMR closed qualifiers for South America. We do, of course, have a lower bracket, that would suggest, so they do have a chance indeed to come back, and we might get to cover them again tomorrow. I think we are on that lower bracket final, so that could be fun. Either way, here we are, round number 60, getting into the pistol. Nice start from IDK, but seems out towards long, things are getting a little spicy. 3 versus 3 with IDK being low. Van Liberty definitely in position, I think, to snatch this one, you know, and bring it back into their favor. Meanwhile, this is something they like doing quite a bit in the pistol rounds, having a hard lurk that moves fast and catches holes in the defense. That's exactly what Ale has done here. Oh, dangerous fight. Might go down if he's not careful. K-Tech's also the same kind of deal, so we'll see as the bomb is about to go down.
Smoke now comes in for Havan. That's a huge frag, actually, from Remix. If you lose that duel, it's probably a round over, to be honest. But he's been sensational during this overpass thus far. Swinging out now from the CT position. Such low HP on these remaining players. You know, IDK made a pretty good go of that, to be honest. But ultimately, the HP was a little bit too little. Down now 2 to 14. Needless to say, any team, irrespective of the way the second rounds normally work, would be force buying in this position. Way too many rounds to run back for overtime. So, you know, I'm not even going to say the word comeback, but this is most certainly do or die. Paquetá, they simply have to win this, don't they? No choice.
Yeah. It's one of those where, like, you know, pretty obvious. We don't have to say anything, and I think viewers all know that, right? But it is worth saying every now and then, maybe if you are a fanatical fan, of which there can be quite a few, particularly in the very passionate Brazilian scene. Either way, the execute, the long execute, I should say, seems to be here. A little bit of utility worked out. Always nice to see. Havan Liberty, I think they realise the position they're in. They are not looking to mess this one up. Simple flashes, getting some control. Do need to maybe hold off. What's the plan here? Don't tell me this is a fake. Okay. It is. What do you think of that?
Well, to be honest, I kind of want to see how it plays out, but in principle, they pulled a lot of rotates over towards A. There's only 2 players here on B, on there on short, so as long as the utility goes down, fundamentally, this is a fine way to play. Second round here on Overpass. Hopefully Doc here doesn't just go down immediately. Would have been nice for him to lurk for longer. Nade's going down on B. Remix thought about committing in front of that short smoke, but ultimately the bomb is going to get planted. Nice control now towards the Havan position. So it's almost like a terrorist execute, isn't it? Coming out from the monster position as well as short. Skulls and Remix, they're fighting around. It's pit area. Skulls finds the first one. Correct from IDK. Missing a few shots though is Skulls, and IDK with Deagle in hand. Trades all over the place. DRG left 1 on 2. He can't find the first. Time is there for the bomb to be stuck. So here's a round win for Paquetá. Bomb to get planted, so we should see a force buy in the next. But yeah, Havan couldn't quite close it out. Reasonable attempt, but I think they strung it out too much, and maybe Doc could have got more done.
Yeah, it's definitely a strange one. I think the long play, like you say, that lurker needed to find a bit more. Maybe committing like a body or 2 off the back of the execute. But Paquetá, the position they're in, very precarious, of course. And I think they want to keep the comms, keep the calling as simple as possible. That's why everyone rotated pretty quickly. But they still managed to get back into the round. So credit where credit is, of course, due. It was a nice bit of individual play from IDK in particular. Moving forwards, though, buy from both sides. It's kind of hard. I suppose rifle-wise, it looks better on that CT side, but of course, the AKs and the Deagles, you can never really overlook them. Nice little angle there to spot in towards short at the very least from IDK. No kills as yet, though.
Very slow kind of default coming out from Havan. You can see on your mini-map, the Paquetá guys are playing so passive essentially on both bomb sites. Bit of a tag there on towards David. So getting a little bit pinched actually here towards kind of the sign and default area. If Havan were to commit up anytime soon, entry flash is perfect. David smokes in front of him. So nice, but there's players all over the place. The rotators are trying to come in. David finds the first. He gets traded. Paytech drops another. Bomb is getting taken down on front site, and that was a little bit scary, but ultimately it's just in time.
Alrighty. Little bit of action, little bit of something at the moment. Always that scenario of easier said than done. They're making it a little interesting and maybe showing us a bit of what their CT side has got headed into tomorrow. Like we say, that lower bracket run back probably going to be required.
Yeah, indeed. And, you know, I've seen stranger things. It's not out of the question, but, you know, one round at a time, make it competitive at least. You certainly wouldn't want to lose this series after having an overtime on Dust 2, then being reasonably convincing on Nuke, and then just to fall flat on the third. You want to, you know, at least be able to say we made a good go of the series overall. Paquetá keeping that one clean. That's nice to see. Money in this round position isn't the biggest of deals, so nice to have some money in the bank, but it shouldn't matter all too much. Havan, though, guns in hand, they weren't brilliant on the T side of Nuke, so in that sense, maybe we can see still a potential for some, you know, competitive scoreline off the back of Havan not being comfortable on the T side, but, you know, I couldn't believe they could be as sloppy as that T side of Nuke after what we just saw in CT.
Well, like you say, stranger things have indeed happened. Right, decent buy-in this time from Havan Liberty. Thinnest of thin angles from Nithon. See how that comes a little later on into the round. There is a player just outside of party in the form of Remix. Where's he going though? Sticking around, not going too crazy. Wide angle just in front of the fountain there, I believe. Just next to it, it looks like. All the same, not really going to see any action from him. It looks like more so towards B, towards short perhaps. Skull's thinking about it. Flash comes in. Bit of a fake play with the spray there. Trying to draw the step forward from Destiny. But look, man, 5-17, I don't think you're going crazy aggressive with a scoreline like that. Definitely going to knock your confidence. Cheeky flash and a smoke. But Paquetá not taking any chances at all as we move in towards a B execute in the final 40.
Yeah, indeed. Looking at the minimap, you see Paquetá there. They were leaning much towards the A-bomb side, but that rotator has made his way back. Nades being dropped, 30 seconds remaining. Only the flashbang left here on towards B, and look at this decision. 23 seconds remaining. This is going to be so close to try and actually get the bomb plant. David mollies one site. The float trap default. That kill was huge, but I think the bomb can just about get planted. 9, 8. There is still a player facing from truck. Molly is still in front of default. There's no way this has been planted now. And Havan, I'm honestly not sure why they turned around there. That was way too late.
14-5, dude. Let's just give it a go. That's the only reason I can think. But there's no need with a scoreline like that. There's no need to overthink things, you know? Or mess about. I'm not sure. I think it's one end of that spectrum, right? They're either trying to be big brain or they're like, let's just do it for a laugh.
I think they panicked.
You decide. Maybe.
I think they panicked. They saw too many nades on B, and they were like, it's going sub 30 seconds, and we can't exec the way we wanted to, so they panicked and ran towards A. And, you know, you need to have, at times in CS, the kind of, don't want to say the confidence, but like you need to recognize the situation that it might be dire, but at least we're going to execute onto this site together and give ourselves a chance. And that was kind of sheer panic, probably the comms all over the place as well. So
Ooh.
David, he's padding the stats a little bit. So it's going to be 7 rounds for Paquetá. It's a shame they didn't pick up a few more rounds on their T side because we would be talking about this being a very close game had they. Clearly, still a long way making this one even. But Havan, if they're going to make mistakes like that, you know, this could be a very close game very soon.
T sides for these teams are messy, aren't they? You know, it's even generous to call it like a glorified pug. There's certainly some teams in Europe that can approach the game like that. But even then, it feels very, very disjointed. It's kind of like a couple of the players trying their best, at least at the moment, to just sort of 1v5 or, you know, find the hero 3k. So they need to relax. They need to pull it in. They need to get themselves composed. Know what they're capable of. We have seen some good rounds, both on the CT and the T side of things. It's just having the, I suppose, wherewithal to just keep it going. You know, and look, these nades are cool, man. You know, from pretty far away. It's definitely something I think that, again, teams a little further north, a little further east, or a little higher up the rankings really have figured that that's not going to do too much for you. It's a nice idea, but you need to be closer to it to capitalize. Because it's like, okay, there's a molly there. You just wait for it to dissipate, and then someone could easily walk back into that angle. Or as we see, the smoke goes down, and now it's you that's like, oh, I don't know if someone's there inside the smoke, round the corner. Have I pushed someone away? You know, it leaves more questions than maybe it should. Walking through the smoke here, though, this... Oh, could have been huge, but David... I think he heard the fact that he was hitting them, no? With the nade, with the shots. It does make a little bit of a sound. And not looking good here for Havan once again. Trying to go for something a bit cheeky. Trying to catch their opponents off guard. It's a nice frag from Ale, to be fair. Knife on with the contact. Might have wanted to commit to that. Remix going to take him down. Now into the 2-on-2. Not entirely out of the question, but IDK is quite close, as is KTEX. Instant trade. Remix can't find it around the corner. Definitely the closest it's been in the past few rounds, but Paquetá, thanks to the early exchanges, coming out on top.
Yeah, indeed. And Havan there, I call that Hail Mary, trying to go through the long smoke. I mean, the nades on towards mid were just ordinary mid nades, to be honest, so nothing extraordinary in those respects. But yeah, Havan, I don't really know what happened that round. They got to the end and had like no utility left, and those players committed through the long smoke with no flashes. Maybe they were trying to get a nice timing, but obviously when you put that smoke down, the CTs are going to be aware that players could be in the vicinity. So a little bit bizarre. I think the good thing we are seeing, though, is the pauses. And actually, I'll tell you straight up from a coaching perspective, if like I'm coaching a team and we're in a lead like this, I'm pausing every gun round, because every gun round matters so much, and you're so close to the end. You just need to win one, and you've done it essentially. So they should pause so many times here if this gets close, and not let the scoreline become close before they've really talked through these gun rounds. Because clearly, whatever's going on in terms of the set rounds or whatever they're calling isn't materializing, because it's kind of all over the place in these last few rounds. So time to slow it down and really think about what you're doing.
Seems we're in a bit more of a technical pause, unfortunately, Alan. So, try and get you some updates on that as and when we can. Always easier said than done, as we mentioned before. Had a few ping problems and whatnot. This one looks to be a mic problem. TeamSpeak. You know, don't want to reveal any trade secrets, but I have my doubts. Nonetheless, we're back in quickly. 14-8 as Havan Liberty once again looking to close things out with another amalgam of a half buy. You could say DRG spending a little bit too much, but then we're on the 3,400 loss bonus here. So it's all good. He can get an AK in the next.
Yeah, indeed. And, if I had 10 quid for the amount of times I've seen these rounds just get games over the line when there should be slam dunks. You know, I wouldn't be seeing it casting. But anyway, we're going to see a big exec coming out. Plenty of nades in the bag for Havan. They got some nice flashes, so hopefully they go to good use. But look at this B stack. 4 players on B from Paquetá. They're playing passive angles. They're not going to get caught out by these nades on towards Rain. This is going to be a meat grinder. Knife on first, 2 frags for him. Destiny jumps up on default, and it's just a massacre.
Yeah, you could see that one coming for sure. Definitely felt like we should have maybe had some utility out towards the Heaven area, but they were wanting to go thick and fast, and that Heaven smoke, it floats and floats and floats, you know, gives the game away. Does make sense as well, I think, a bit of a stack after a pause like that. You can feel that the B rush, although it wasn't totally instant, it was pretty quick, is not too foreign of an idea. But we'll see. We're starting to look down the barrel of worrying times, particularly if they lose this round. Last one's a half buy. You go for, as we've said a few times with the plays they've been pulling out in recent rounds, a Hail Mary. Doesn't work for you. That's cool, because you're buying in the next anyway. This is where it needs to work, because Paquetá are starting to build up money, momentum, confidence. These are all things that are very dangerous and that, of course, help you to win a game and mount a successful comeback. Now that I've said it, you know, always a bit worrying, the old caster's curse, but I don't know, they've looked good. They've looked good. Havan have looked less than good, so that definitely helps them out. But stuff like this, you know, nice timing, smoke comes over, Destiny was waiting for that. Nathan, ready and waiting here. How do they approach this one? Contact flash. Little obvious, but it gets him off the angle. They're going to keep moving in, and this is not bad for him at all. Finds the double. 4-on-2 in favor of the CT side because of that now. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. You know, you flash him off the angle, and then you maybe move towards short. Right? And have a few seconds of holding to make sure he's not contacting in, and then you've taken some control somewhere. But trying to chase down the AWP and that left eye peek, I wouldn't say it's never going to work, but it's certainly going to make your life difficult for yourself.
Yeah, indeed. For me, in a scenario like that, when you know the AWP is trapped, you know, your 2 players have to be like welded together. They have to be essentially peeking at the same time. You might get collateraled, but honestly, you have to be so close to not allow the AWPer to hide in the corner and, you know, recock the AWP and get another shot off. And that's clearly what they allowed in that scenario. AWP then is going to get saved over. His teammates are going to half buying around it. So this is starting to get really close. Actually, they need to start using their pauses, I think, because what we've seen actually is in the last few rounds, they've alternated between really strung out defaults where they're truly all over the map, and then grouping up with 5 but being very telegraphed. And there's no middle ground where it's like default with numbers, get map control into making like an informed decision. It just feels a little bit all over the place at the moment, and they just need to, you know, it's what I said on Nuke, wasn't it? Just keep it simple. That's what you need to do in this scenario. And it probably will be enough, because we know that Paquetá are not the most formidable of opponents. Even if they're winning rounds here, if you run simple CS with good execs, you should be able to at least get it in strong afterplant scenarios.
A lot of presence on long. 4 players, in fact, just the one coming up connector in the form of Ale. And the execute. Set up and ready. Remix on the AWP. Waiting for the peak. Now, there's 3 players ready and waiting. We've got David, we've got K-Tex, and we've got Nithon. I'm going to let them cross. However, David, in a bit of an off angle, looking good. Flash comes in, does make life difficult for him. K-Tex only good for the 1. Nithon's still got to deal with him. Or do you? Right? You just plant for the other side. Remix goes flying in. Skulls at the very least will get the plant. It's going to help facilitate your next buy here. 1 versus 3 required, and he's mollied out pretty much into the open. Whoa, that is a hell of a shot that he nearly set himself up for a quick and scary double. Not going to happen. Paquetá up to 11, really closing the gap now.
I think this is going overtime at this rate, and the CT money is so out of control that I've 2 perfectly fine buys, even if Havan wins one. So this is getting really close, and the scoreline still suggests Havan are in a commanding lead, but this half has been anything but convincing from the Havan guys. So you start taking your pauses now because you're running out of time swiftly here. There's only a few gun rounds left in this half, so full buy, of course, coming out from Havan. Clearly, the last few gun rounds have not been working out, so it's time to make a change. 4 players here defaulting towards A, 1 on towards B. He's showing a little bit of presence, but looks like they'll be grouping up towards A early. And I like the squib. It looks like a much simpler round already than what we've seen in the past few, so fingers crossed. Hopefully they can have some more success.
Yeah, I think they're starting to realise, this is another thing maybe with the mentality. You definitely get it with some of the teams that are a little further down, but when we talk about, like our Premier level, that's kind of where we work at the vast majority of the time. I think they respect most of the rounds, even when you are after a 13-2 half. Anything is possible. Let's play it like it's proper, and I think Havan have been taking a few liberties. And now they realise, okay, we got to do something about this because it's getting out of control. The monster that we've kind of let harbour for a few rounds too long. Nice find from David. In behind the smoke, going to be hard to clear here. Nathan as well in the bathrooms behind them, looking to find a couple of picks. Will get one. Lost his teammate on the front side, but Nathan's still getting another. K-Tex able to trade in. Ale the only one left. 1 versus 4. Not going to happen. Nathan takes him down, and Paquetá again able to fend off against the A play. Havan. They might even lose. Imagine that. Honestly, if it keeps on going, if Paquetá hit 15 first, I think they lose.
Yeah, oh, yes, certainly. In terms of gun rounds in this half, it was a 13-2, wasn't it? The first half, so
yeah.
And that was pistol round, wasn't it? The 14th, so since then, it's been all downhill. No plant either in that round, so it's kind of a half buy again. So they aren't even able to keep up the pressure in that sense. And, Paquetá are reading this like a book. They're stacking 4 towards B. They know that A's been a disaster the last few rounds, so clearly a B side hit's going to be on the cards. They've got 4 over. There is a lurk, actually. Remix might get a nice timing, but I don't know. We'll see what Havan choose to do. If they do reset into A here, they got a chance, but there's just so many players on B right now.
Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Incoming flank. They've got a couple players rotated across. There's only the one guy. And he's going. Oh, you've been bamboozled, boys. Remix, indeed, will find the business end of Destiny's M4. He's got himself a couple on the way back in. Making a third, making a fourth. Ah, the ace stolen away, though, Doc. In the 1-on-3. They got the bomb plant. The idea was there, but even then, Paquetá are able to battle their way back in. And actually win the round. I would have said, if you have a flank like that, and you're able to walk your way into B, you've got to win that round. You've got to win that round. Sure, the numbers aren't there for you. You lose the guy who's lurking. But just in terms of the setup, right? Get out towards short, play for the bomb, and you should be in with a decent chance. Close 1v1 at the end? Definitely not, just letting Destiny walk rings around you. I don't know.
Yeah, potentially. I think they could have certainly done better in the afterplant. The one aspect you have to kind of give credence to is that they have no nades. So, the CT players rotating in through Heaven, they've instantly got angles onto the bomb sites. So it's a little bit more difficult versus, on a regular gun round in that spot, you'd probably do win it. Just because you're going to have some nades to at least close out those angles. But that was the closest Havan have got for a long time. Hopefully that can, in some senses, add a little bit of confidence. But again, I do like the simple rounds. The problem was last time they didn't clean out toilets. Now towards long, they've got a nice 2-man setup here. Takes the shot, reboosts here. There's nobody to greet him, but it is a nice idea. And Havan, they're just walking their way up banana.
Hey, it nearly worked for the B play last round, so looking to find some holes, a little bit of utility. However, Ali going to go down at long. So the man down in this, they need to cleanly find these 2 long players. Down goes David. They know the AWP's got to be there as well, and Remix has found him actually on the backside. So here we are, 4 versus 3. Havan Liberty. Absolutely need to find this one. Destiny on the backside will take down DRG. It's not out of the question quite yet. Skulls. His next line of defense. Try and get the timing on him, and he will do so. Around the smoke. Doc able to take out IDK. So here we go. Bar some heroics from Ketex. It should be the 15th for Havan. Money's definitely there, so he can go for this if he fancies it, but it feels futile. The overtime still definitely on the cards, folks. Okay, this is the first rifle round in... What are we looking at now? 11?
13-2. Yeah, 11.
Into 14. All right, sick. Who needs the maths degree? Am I right, guys? The maths masters, bro.
Clearly. Havan, though...
It's not just numbers, is it? It's like ideas.
Oh, yeah, that's all degree level maths is. Numbers are just representations. It could be anything. They could be coloured bricks. They could be jelly beans. They don't really matter at the end of the day. Havan, though, needless to say, given the trend of this T-half, that was a must-win after plot. No doubt about it. So happy for their sake they managed to find the conversion, but now it's all about chaining it together, getting this round, because if you lose it, goodbye, and the last is not going to be perfect. Again, they're running a very similar round. Get out mid, creep up short. You can see they're setting up early. The problem is they've got no additional map control. There's still a player in knife on in towards the toilet's position. He finds the first frag, falling back on towards A. There's 2 players in defense now. It's a really great shot from Doc, actually, in K-Tex. He's now the man who is going to be called upon, dancing as best he can around the truck. So many players. The fast flank from Destiny actually looks like it's going to seal the deal. LA left 1 on 2. Bomb dropped on the stairs, and money bit over the place for Havana. 14-15, and if I'd have told you at the start of the second half we were staring down the barrel of overtime, you would have said I was completely insane.
I would have done, yeah, I would have done. But here we are, a game of CT halves. A full match of that, it feels like. Dust 2 not so much, but even then, it's kind of close, right? You know, we went to overtime. Clearly that speaks to the fact that the CT sides were a bit proficient. Oh, triple nade. Not quite able to find it. Little off the mark. I think it's difficult to get a kill there, to be fair. It's more for the boost.
It's for the jump spot. It's for the jump spot.
Yeah. It's a bit further back for it. So... Still, big damage. Always nice. See what they can do with it.
Nice to see. You can see that the last couple rounds was super fast, like map control into just execing, and they've clearly changed their minds to saying, let's play a little bit slower. Nothing necessarily wrong with that. It's just that these late executes have been anything but perfection. Flash comes out. LA commits out yards in front of his teammates.
Hello?
And that is an unbelievable piece of timing. Smoke has come down on the left side of this bomb site. That's going to help. Free bomb is still yet to be coming over. Catching the player rotating in Destiny. He's still trapped around the pillar. He's left 1 on 2. Flank from both angles. And it's over.